Good morning, students. In this slide, we will discuss how note is written from a passage or paragraph. Let's come to the first slide. This is the example number 1. In this slide, one passage is given. What is this passage? As per the government source, 28 COVID patients died on 10th October, 25 died on 11th, 22 died on 12th and 13th October respectively, but the number suddenly jumped to 30 on 14th October, which definitely has created panic among common people, especially just before the onset of Puja festival. This is the passage, a small passage. Now we will convert the information or data represented through this passage in a diagrammatic way. Let's see. This is the solution number 1 of example 1. Here column diagram is used. You have first to understand what is column diagram or column chart. Normally a column chart is a graphic representation of data. It is used to represent any data set. Column charts display vertical bars growing across the chart horizontally, with the values axis being displayed on the left side of the chart. Follow this particular diagram. Here in the x-axis, death of COVID patients on different dates like 10th October, 11th October, 12th October, 13th October, 14th October is elaborated. And in the y-axis, here the number of death is represented. Number of death of COVID patient is represented. On 10th October, in the passage it is given that 28 patients died. You see, on 10th October, the solid green bar goes up to 28 of y-axis, which shows that 28 people died on 10th April. Similarly, on 11th, you again can see solid green bar goes up to 25 in y-axis. So it shows on 11th October 25 patients died. Accordingly, the other deaths along with different dates is illustrated here. So column chart is very effective for showing the situation at a point or at a time. Okay, here one axis displays the categories being compared and the other the data values. Fine. So data values is given here in the y-axis, where the data of different dates that occurred in different dates in October is given, and in the x-axis the different dates on which the date occurred is given. So two data charts are compared through a column diagram, and it is clearly evident by showing this diagram. So one particular passage can be represented by simply drawing a diagram like this. This is one kind of note taking. Let's come to example number 2. In the second example, it is said that in the financial budget of 2019-20, Government of India had allocated 20% of its total expenditure in service sector, 10% in healthcare sector, 15% in education sector, 10% in irrigation sector, 40% in defense sector, and 5% in manufacturing sector. So in this passage, it is very clearly evident different types of percentage of budget allocation is given. Let's come to solution number 2. By applying charting method, we have given the data that is represented in example 2. In the heading, it is clearly written FY means financial year, budget of year 2019-20 by GOI. GOI represents Government of India. So GOI is the abbreviated form. Next, two columns are given. One is for percentage of budget allocation, percentage of budget allocated, and the other column represents the sectors. 20% budget for service sector, 10% for healthcare, 15% for education sector, again 10% for irrigation sector, 40% for defense sector, and 5% for manufacturing sector. So whatever data or information is represented through a passage in example number 2 can be well depicted by simply applying a charting method. And this particular chart conveys the same message, same information that is written in example number 2. So by applying a charting method, we can easily conveys the same meaning, same information what is given in a passage. So in charting method, by applying this charting method, we can also write notes. Let's come to example number 3. Here, the Human Resource Department of ABC Enterprise Limited has estimated that they have to retrench 10% employees from process department, 30% employees from store section, 20% employees from marketing department, 15% employees from finance department, 15% employees from HR department, and 10% from dispatch section due to manpower abundance. What is this passage all about? Due to excess manpower, ABC Enterprise Limited has decided to sack manpower or to reduce the strength of manpower in different percentage. 10% from process department, 30% from store, 20% from marketing, 15% from finance, 15% from HR, and 10% from dispatch section. So here is also information or data is presented. This is the solution of example number 3. We have drawn the solution by applying pie chart. What is pie chart? Pie charts are used in data handling. Here different circular charts are drawn, and the main chart is divided up to different segments or slices which represent a value. Okay. Pie charts are divided into different sections to represent values of different sizes. Fine. Pie charts are best used to show parts of a whole thing. Specifically, pie charts should illustrate meaningful relationships between percentages or parts of 100%. If the data we want to display doesn't add up to 100%, then pie chart may not be or cannot be applied in that particular case. In the example number 3, different data percentage wise is given, and if we can calculate all these data, then you can find that this data adds 100%. So as the summation is 100%, then definitely we can apply pie chart here. At the heading, you can see percentage of employees to be retrenched from ABC Enterprise Limited. This is the identification of the note. Here the ABC Enterprise Limited, this is the name of the organization, is clearly mentioned. And what is this chart all about? It is about the percentage of employees to be retrenched from ABC Enterprise Limited. So this is the identification. Now the data is represented by applying different colors, like the green color is for process department, pink color is for store section. In the data, you can see 30%, in the pie chart you can see 30% is mentioned on pink color. Now pink color represents the store section. So 30% employees to be retrenched from store section. On the yellow color 20% is written. So 20% yellow color is represented by marketing department. So 20% employees will be retrenched from marketing department. So in this way pie chart illustrates data. So where percentage of different things can add 100%, we can apply pie charts in that passage for note taking. Then example number 4. In this example, here is written 5 types of energy sources are available. One is solar energy, which we get from solar power. Another is biomass, which is mainly obtained from plant matter or animal waste. Another most important source of energy is geothermal energy. It is produced by topping underground reservoirs of heat on Earth's surface. Another source is hydroelectric source, which is produced by moving turbine into flowing water. Wind is of course another energy source. Windmills convert kinetic energy into mechanical or electrical energy. It's a statement giving information of different energy sources and its name along with from where we get this energy. Let's come to solution number 4. Semantic wave method is applied in this slide. What is semantic wave? In the different techniques or methods adapted to note making, I have illustrated what is semantic wave. In the semantic wave, one core point, core information is represented at the top of the page. Here, green energy 5 types. Green energy means the different sources of energy that is mentioned in the passage. Example number 4 is written at the top of the page. Then comes the wave strands. There are 5 main energy sources. So there are 5 main strands. One is solar, one is biomass, one is geothermal, one is hydroelectric, one is wind. So these are the 5 wave strands which directly connects to 5 types of energy sources. Fine. Now under each energy sources there is written its characteristics. Like under solar it is written obtained from solar power. So this is the second wave strand that connects to the solar, which is the primary wave strand of energy source. Biomass, it is obtained from plant matter or animal waste into electricity. So this information is the second wave strands that is connected to biomass, which is the primary wave strand which is directly connected to the energy source, primary energy source. Likewise, the other energy sources are depicted through different wave strands. So semantic wave method can be depicted in this way, where the primary or main source or core information is depicted at the top of the page, and the other matters that is connected to the core idea is represented through different wave strands. Okay, like solar, biomass, geothermal, hydroelectric, wind. In this way it is represented. Then secondary wave strands may generate where the other characteristics can be described. So in this particular example